Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for keeping tuned at Smart 24. Remember, Smart 24 TV is now on GoTV channel 394, and as well you can find us on YouTube on our stream, live stream for Smart 24. So you can always keep updated on your current business information and all the things that are going on concerning business here in Uganda and as well across the globe. My name is Anthony. Now we are going to go through the top stories, but before we do that, I would like to just notify some of the people who have shares in some companies that we have annual general meetings that have already been scheduled, and they require your attendance as a shareholder. Remember, as a shareholder, you are a stakeholder, as a matter of fact, in the company's decisions, especially concerning leadership and policies, electing new leaders, and all these other decisions that influence the company so that it can run as you, the shareholder, may wish it to run. Now, Wumeme Limited is going to have a meeting on Thursday, the 19th of May, and I think that is already passed. The annual general meeting of Wumeme Limited already passed on Thursday, 19th of May 2022. But the book closure date is going to be 24th June 2022, and the dividend payment date is going to be Friday, the 22nd of July 2022. So if you have shares in Wumeme, you should be waiting for 2022. The dividend price per share is going to be 54.1 shillings, which is quite an interesting share of the dividend right there. Meaning, if you have 1,000 shares, you are expecting to earn about 54,000. If you have 1,000,000 shares, then you are expecting about 54 million on 22nd of July 2022. So if you're a shareholder in Wumeme, look out for that and more concerning your shares right there. Then MTN Uganda will be holding its annual general meeting this Friday, the 27th of May 2022 at exactly 10 a.m. And the book closure date will be Wednesday, the 1st of June 2022. And of course, the dividend payment date will be 24th June 2022 on a Friday at that day. So you're going to have your dividend paid out, and the dividend is going to be at a price of 4.7. So if you have shares in MTN, remember we used our phones to buy these shares. I hope you did. You just go to your phone and dial *165 hash. And so if you bought yourself shares in MTN, you're expecting a dividend of 4 shillings per share, meaning if you have 100 shares, unfortunately that is 400 shillings for you right there. And if you have 1,000,000 shares, that is about 4 million shillings for you in MTN. So if you have shares in MTN, please go out and attend your general meeting on this Friday, the 27th. You can always look out on their website for the venue at exactly 10 a.m. and await your dividend on the 24th of June, Friday 2022. Moving on, Stanbic Uganda Holdings, which is a company as well, listed here in Uganda, is going to hold its annual general meeting on the 2nd of June, which is going to be next Thursday but 1. So if you have shares in Stanbic Uganda Holdings, your meeting will be held on the 2nd of June 2022. As well, they have not issued a dividend due to restrictions by the Bank of Uganda on all listed banks not to issue a dividend in order to recover enough capital due to the losses they incurred in COVID-19, and as well as the inflation that is going on in the country and in the world at large. So if you have shares in Stanbic Uganda Holdings, you don't have a dividend this year, but you can watch the space anytime, anywhere. They can always declare one. British American Tobacco Uganda is going to hold its annual general meeting on Wednesday, the 15th of June, 2022 at exactly 10 a.m. And the book closure date is 20th of June, 2022. and the payment of the dividend will be done on Monday, the 11th of July 2022. And the dividend that you're going to gain from each share is going to be about 209 Uganda shillings. So if you have 100 shares in British American Tobacco, you expect 200, you expect actually 200 right there. If you have 1,000 shares, you expect 209,000 Uganda shillings. So if you have shares right there in British American Tobacco, you should look out for your general meeting as well. Uganda Clays Limited, an annual general meeting on June the 29th, 2022. It will be a Wednesday. And the book closure date is Wednesday, the 29th of June, 2022. And of course, the dividend payment date is going to be 20th of July, 2022, another Wednesday. And the dividend per share is going to be 1.5. So if you have shares in Uganda Clays Limited, look out for that dividend and at the annual general meeting. Remember, as we say on this program, as a shareholder, you have a right to attend the annual general meeting. Doesn't matter, regardless of the amount of shares you have with the company, you can always attend their annual general meeting and look at the decision making, influence the decision making in this company, so that you know that where you invested actually the right way, the way you want the company to be run. The leaders that are going to actually take over the company by taking part in elections in that annual general meeting. So moving on, that was the update from Uganda Security Exchange as well. If you have missed any of the things I've mentioned, you can always visit the Uganda Security Exchange website and keep updated on exactly what is going on with your company so that you keep up to date. Now, moving on to the stories that have been making headlines, 81% of Ugandans opt for agriculture when it comes to investment, according to a report by Bank of Uganda. Now, at least 81.3% of working Ugandans choose agriculture as the first choice when it comes to investing in both short and long term, according to the Financial Capability Survey. The findings contained in a 78-page document that was issued by Bank of Uganda in collaboration with Alliance for Financial Inclusion indicates that at least according to Uganda Bureau of Statistics, during the period ended December 2020 and published in mid-April, they highlight a key number of financial parameters, among which include household incomes, investment, issuance, or uptake, saving, and financial management, among others. So the survey was carried out in at least 3,338 households in rural areas, which is representative of about 22.8 million adults that are in this country between the ages of 16 and about 80 years. So that is the survey that was carried out. 33,000 people aged between 16 and 80 years. The report notes that majority of working Ugandans choose agriculture as their first choice investment. However, the report does not indicate the reasons for the decision, but could be explained by the composition of interviewed households, 72.7% of which was a rural setting. At 19.3%, land comes second as the second most choicest investment with which Ugandans actually would want to invest, while at 11.8%, reporting that in order to meet most of their financial goals, they engage in some sort of farming or agriculture. The Financial Capability Survey, which is the second edition, seeks to shape policies by understanding the financial capability of Ugandans, as well as finding out how adult Ugandans make financial decisions, as well as achieving them. Government has been sending mixed signals in terms of agricultural investment, noting that it cannot transform the economy. However, Bank of Uganda findings will provoke a new debate given the government officials have previously refused to prioritize agriculture as a driver of the economy. Now, recently, Mr. Ramadan Ngowi, who is in the Ministry of Finance Permanent Secretary Docket, said that government must deliberate in regard to economic transformation, noting that there must be a change from the subsistence kind of economy and agriculture to a kind of industrialized or industrialization kind of agriculture. As people's income rise, the fraction of spent on food or agriculture products declines, while that spent on manufactured items and modern services like banking, like telecommunication and transport increases. This was Mr. Gobi saying this, and noting that the transformed countries, the share of workers employed in agriculture is smaller compared to those that are in services and in industrial sectors. So what Mr. Gobi is saying is that in other developed countries, the people that are employed in the agricultural sector are not as many as the people that are employed in the services and industrialization sector. So most people are actually in the grown economies, already developed economies, are employed in the industrialized sector and as well in the services sector. Now remember, these sectors are influenced directly by capital markets and money markets because they borrow money from the banks. They also are listed, some of them are listed on the exchange. We have just seen CIPLA, Uganda Clays, and so on. So these companies, actually, if they grew and outgrew the agriculture, the traditional subsistence agricultural sector, we would have a lot more, jobs and employment, because as these companies grow, they start employing more people, they start giving out jobs, expanding, and building infrastructure, and this way we can actually grow our market. Now, that was a report there coming in from Bank of Uganda in the Financial Capability Survey. You can follow up the report for more information, but this report is mainly aimed at a feasibility study by Bank of Uganda to, make policies that are fit for the financial capabilities of Ugandans. Now, moving on, saving associations have become the most popular source of borrowing, according to a report as well from Bank of Uganda. Now, village savings and loan associations and schemes are the largest source of borrowing, according to data from Bank of Uganda. The data contained in the Bank of Uganda Financial Capability Survey indicates that 47.7% of borrowing Ugandans draw their loans from village savings and loan associations, which are self-managed savings and credit groups that do not receive external funding. They are most popular in rural areas and low-income urban areas. The report also indicates that village savings and loans associations are followed by saving credit and cooperative organization, the so-called SACCOs. Savings, credit, and cooperative organizations, which make up at least 21.8% of the loan uptake. The survey was conducted among 3,338 households, representative of 22.8 million adults of 16 years and above, just like the report we've just seen before. It also found that two sources of loans might be popular due to the ease with which members can access these loans. For instance, the survey noted that 64.4% of the loan applicants consider the ease and speed of loan approval while borrowing. So the report is simply saying that Ugandans are into borrowing from these village loan and SACCOs and so on, because they're easy. I mean, the interest rate is very easy to calculate. It's very easy to actually make a transaction. It's easy to buy out your money. And sometimes this can be dangerous because some people run away with these SACCOs money, and sometimes the wrangles are not solved appropriately. Now, as this story develops and as we shall be looking into it, we want to advise you to actually make sure you borrow from the right people. You can always borrow money for your emergencies. You can borrow money to expand your businesses. But as well, you have to be careful where you borrow that money, because it could influence your future a lot. And that's why we are saying save and invest, so you don't have to borrow a lot of money that may actually lead to different problems. Now, the report also noted that even at the lowest level, a number of defaults have been registered, with at least 62.1% of the people failing to pay because of loss or lack of income. You see, the problems are so many that are involved in borrowing from these schemes, both to the individual that has borrowed and to the person, actually the association as the entity. However, the survey does not provide data on the composition of formal financial institutions that constitute the largest portion of lending in terms of value. Mr. Joseph Lutwama, the Financial Sector Deepening Uganda Act Executive Director, said yesterday that village savings and loan associations are the most preferred source of loans because they require less, less requirements than formal financial institutions. Again, this easy to get, easy to go. So you might actually find it easy to get that money, but you may lose that money from your SACCO. So that's why we want to provide an option here at Financial Markets, that you can actually use this money that you're saving and invest a little bit of it. And whenever you want this money, you can always pull it out. Except, for example, in collective investment schemes and so on, and all these other optional ways of saving money, so that you actually, as an individual, can actually pick up and you make a living from where you are. Now, our time is fast spent. We are going to go into a short break. When we return with more of some of the stories that we have not mentioned here. But as well, it is something to look out for on the show today. We are having a financial analyst from SBG Securities, Mr. Raymond Kayemba, who is going to talk a little bit more about what happened at CIPLA for the past financial year, 2021-2022. How did CIPLA perform? What are the facts behind those figures that have already been published in the papers and all over the websites about financial, the financial reports from CIPLA. So we are going to be returning with that and more. Don't go anywhere. My name is Anthony Sebale, and this is Financial Markets. Stick around.